Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Morgan's Tasty Wine Notes, Volume 8. I know it's been a while. Hope you're all doing well out there. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Come to you today to talk about a little-known grape named Cinsault. Cinsault is from France originally. It's very important in the Languedoc-Roussillon region of France. It's very heat-tolerant, and usually it's used as an aromatic blending grape for blends with things such as Grenache and Syrah. Here at Two Vintners, we have really grown to embrace this grape and love it. It's really important to us. We do use it as a blending grape from time to time, but every year at this time, just before the holidays, we release a wine called Make Haste. And over the years, Make Haste has become a 100% Cinsault bottling. I think this is vintage 6 of the Cinsault. Make Haste has a bit of a history. Years and years ago, when I first started at Covington Cellars, I accidentally pumped 2 barrels of Syrah into our Sauvignon Blanc. I was shocked not to get fired for that mistake, but we charged ahead and put it back in barrel, and I kept my job. And then about a year later, Two Vintners came about, and David and Cindy at Covington said, that wine that you screwed up, you can find a way to sell that. And I had labeled the barrels Make Haste in the cellar because I got hasty when I was racking and made that mistake, and the name stuck. And so we released it. That was 2008 vintage. And back then, we didn't tell anybody what it was. Sauvignon Blanc and Syrah blends were not exactly common, and nor are they today. The wine was delicious, though, and Make Haste stuck around. And for years, it was this grape or that grape. It was always delicious, but the more we grew to love Cinsault, we decided that that was really the direction that Make Haste was going to go. So we're really proud of this wine. I really love working with the grape. My favorite versions hail from South Africa. If you can find some of those out at local wine shops, I highly recommend that you grab them. Otherwise, it's pretty hard to find 100% bottlings of Cinsault. Most people just use it as a blending grape, use it in rosé. We actually use it in rosé as well. But from the right place and in the right hands, it can really produce a lovely wine all on its own. Here I do native yeast fermentation, so we don't add any yeast, and I also include usually about 25 to 30% stems or whole cluster. So about a third of the production or the yield that we get, we don't put through the crusher. We just put it in the fermentation, and those stems kind of add density and complexity and a little bit of extra aromatic. So the label in front of me today is our holiday label. We have a new version of the holiday label with the smoking French snowman and his nasty dog every year, done by an artist friend of ours on the East Coast named Claire O'Brien Davidoff. And she's kind enough to make a new version of these characters every year. This year, it's them tearing down the viaduct while drinking. Thought that was appropriate. So Cinsault is spelled Cinsault. Sometimes you see it on a bottle without the L. There's some stories I won't get into about that. There is some disagreement on the spelling. I use the L. I think the L, I don't really have a reason for it. I just think that that's the way it should be spelled. And we only make about 125 cases of this a year. There's really not a lot of Cinsault out there to buy. Or to contract with farmers. This comes entirely from Olson Vineyard in the Yakima Valley. And truth be told, I've had this block since 2007, and I was on the waiting list to get more Cinsault for about 7 years. So that just goes to show how, people really covet this grape, producers really covet this grape, and they're not going to let it go. So I was lucky enough to get a little bit more, and that's how we came to make rosé out of Cinsault as well. But today we're just going to focus on the red version. Again, we release this every November. We make a little bit of this, the holiday label. Otherwise, if you see it, we have this guy on the label. This is a rubber stamp that my wife Sally and I purchased in Chicago years ago, and it was the image that we used on our wedding announcements. No, it makes no sense. It's just what we did. So we, I thought that guy was a good representative of making haste, and so sometimes you'll find this wine out there with that label on it. So just wanted to clear that up. So Senso, we released it at the holidays because it's a fantastic food wine. It is light in tannin and high in aromatics, as mentioned. This version has a tremendous amount of orange peel and like cooking spice. I get a little nutmeg, almost like a paprika note to it. Tasted blind, oftentimes people guess this to be a Pinot Noir. It is a little bit more dense than a Pinot Noir, but Pinot Noir is a good, parallel, I guess. And it does definitely have some notes of Grenache too, like strawberry, kind of brambly fruit that you get on the nose. Just lovely with turkey dinner. I don't eat turkey because I am one, and that'd be weird. But it goes with many dishes on the table. And when you're looking at Thanksgiving, you're looking at high acid, lower alcohol wines without a tremendous amount of density. So you can really go the long haul and eat and sip all day and then pass out in the chair during football. Again, Senso, when you're out there looking, if you're, whether it's ours or somebody else's, I push you not to shy away from it. It's a delicious wine. It's very interesting. And if you can find any 100% versions, so you can really taste the grape, you should grab those. Again, we don't make a whole lot of this. It is available now. We just released it. You can go to the Two Vintners website, which we'll post below. This goes for a whopping $25. So it's a screaming deal, really. We've had a lot of high ratings on this wine. It's very well loved, and I think that you'll love it too. I also want to just pause for a minute before I go to give a toast to my brother Tanner. This is a picture of him when he visited the winery. That's my beautiful wife Sally. We may have been tasting out of the barrels a little bit, and today would have been Tanner's 34th birthday. So today is a hard day, but it's also a special day. So Tanner, to you, may you keep drumming and chopping broccoli up in heaven. We miss you a lot. Love you, brother. Happy birthday. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.